Fran, what are you up to today? I am trying to pick a pattern for my new 3-yard kit. Well, remember, any 3 fabrics will work with any 3-yard quilt pattern. We're going to show you how. Keep watching. Hi, it's Fran Morgan. And Donna Robertson with Fabric Café. We have people asking us all the time what pattern to use with their fabric. And it's really exciting because today we have lots of images to show you on how different fabrics look in different patterns. I love it. Let's jump in with our first one. All right. So our first pattern is Dancing Geese. And this is kind of a fun pattern because it's got all this great movement this way, and then it's got all this great movement this way, and it's got this beautiful border with a great print on this. So let's check out this fabric and all the different ways you can use this fabric. This would certainly bring some sunshine into your life. It really would, and I really like it. I love all of these bright, bold, contrasty colors, and this is no exception. This is gorgeous. And, you know, we did something a little different with this. We have a nice mottled red as our focus fabric. Well, that's cool. That's because you can put any fabric in any position as long as you cut it the way we tell you to cut it. That's right, so you can move it up. Now, the reason why we did that is because we wanted our dancing geese to be out of the red and gold so that it really gave a lot of contrast. So we have our red here in our half square triangles, creating those geese. And then we have our beautiful gold. That looks like giraffe or something. It does. This fabric is so cool. It kind of has that African inspired, like the African fabrics that are so popular, kind of has that flavor and that feel, and I really like it. So this is our number 2, and it's the other half of our half square triangle in our geese here. And then our number 3 is this great print, and it goes on the border, and what a great frame. You know, when you have a real concentration of a gorgeous fabric like that, it really is a statement. It really is, and it's beautiful on the border of this, and it works so, so well. Now, this fabric is just so striking, and you can see how wonderful it works in the Dancing Geese pattern. But we have some other patterns to show you. And images. And images, which is great. So the first one we want to share with you is Jigsaw. Now we've put our fabrics into the jigsaw pattern, and you can see that's got the similar great movement to it. It's got all that color punch from our floral in there. Well, one of the things that happens is it spreads out the fabric all over the quilt. I mean, almost like equal amounts, so that you get a little touch of all of that, where in the other quilt, we really concentrated on the border. Yes. So if you have a fabric you love, a big fat border is good. Always good. And this one, it balances out so beautifully, and it works so well. So love it in this jigsaw pattern. Now we have one other to show you. This is our Jacob's Ladder pattern. And this is really cool because it kind of keeps and groups our colors together. Still creates that great movement. And it keeps this great floral on the border. Oh, yeah. Oh, it does. Yeah. I like that. Yes. And I like that. I like the fact that you've got the red and the yellow showing, and then you've got your print and the red showing. So it's like that red is all the way through the quilt as well. I like that too. Now, we did a little trick on this one. We actually swapped the positions of fabric 1 and 3. So we did put our floral in the number 1 position on Jacob's Ladder. But as you said, any fabric will work in any position as long as you do all the cuts from that position with the fabric. That's why you can almost not go wrong whenever it comes to a 3-yard quilt pattern, because you're going to love the way things look. Just think of the size of your pieces when you're selecting where you put your focus fabric, because that is going to make a difference. If you wouldn't necessarily want to put your focus fabric in the little blocks on that last one that we showed. Right, right. So very fun. Now let's look at the kit information on this one. This kit is called Fall Foliage. The number is 8022505. The first pattern that we saw is Dancing Geese, and it is from the Quilt Favorites book. The next one that we have is Topsy Turvey, and Topsy Turvey is such a sweet quilt. It's just perfect for a baby quilt, and I like those soft colors. Let's put that up here and talk about Topsy Turvey, and then we've got 2 more ways to use this fabric so that you can have lots of choices. Now, love this. I love this too, and you know, Topsy Turvey is one that ends up at the top. since it was born, the pattern was born. I mean, gosh, that was one of your earliest patterns with 3-yard quilts, and it is gorgeous. And the focus fabric is in this small block here that is bordered. Why don't you give me the cropper real quick, and I'll show you the block. So you can kind of envision how this goes together. So it is right here. So there you see we have the focus fabric, and here is, you have a strip that you sew onto one side, and then you put a pieced strip on the other side. And so you can see this cute little moon and stars in that.
Sweet. I just love how soft these colors are. You know, I sometimes wonder, we've started decorating all these nurseries in these nice gender neutral fabrics, and because we don't always know the gender of the baby to begin with, which I think is kind of fun, but I wonder if they're more for the parents to be soothed than the baby. Because I know how tough it can be to have a newborn in the house.
Oh, yeah. As much as you love them, they're trying to communicate. We just don't always understand them. So we're the ones that need a little bit of the calming going on. That's a good point. So let's look at the fabrics. This is our #1 fabric, and just cute, cute, cute. We've got our moons and our stars on a gray background and the little blue stars. I like that, and the little yellow stars. So this yellow is going to pull in perfectly with the little bits of yellow here, the grays with the gray background, and then to top it all off, you've got that wonderful yellow, sort of a little bit of a vine.
It is really nice.
Yeah, I think this is so pretty, so pretty.
So pretty.
So soothing, so soothing. But now you know we have them in 2 more images of quilts, because we've shown you the Topsy Turvey. What would it look like if we put it in the park place? And you can see how the rectangles kind of show up a little bit more whenever they're grouped like this, rather than being scattered throughout the quilt. And your block is a little bit larger too.
So you see a little bit more of that moon and star fabric.
Right, so you might prefer having something like this. And I also love the way the borders are broken up with the yellow and then the #2 and then the #3 alternating.
It's very sweet. I think it works really well in both patterns, Topsy Turvey and Park Place. But we have one more?
We do. Now this one is going to be sugar pie, and that just goes together with sugar pie and the sweet little babies. So whenever you look at this quilt, the way you frame that block out just kind of makes it come forward.
Yes, because it's framed with the yellow, right? So that it kind of frames your nice moon and stars.
And the cool thing about the optical illusion that happens when you have a block like that is the white becomes the background for both of those colors. So it works out really well too.
So we're looking at all of these patterns, and did you know that we have a book bundle that is a special deal on our website? So if you go to fabriccafe.com, you can get either a 3-pack bundle or a 6-pack bundle, and each book has 8 patterns in it. So, and you get a special price when you do the 3 or 6, which is a really good deal. That's a lot of patterns.
That is, but to make it even sweeter, you also have twin and king-queen instructions with every pattern too.
That's right.
So you're getting a lot when you get a 3-yard quilt book. Patterns that you can use any 3 yards with, and you can make it bigger if you prefer.
Yes, I love it. So tell me about the kit info on this one.
So this one is to the moon and back. It's 8023026, Topsy Turvey, and it is from the book Quilts for Kids.
Our next quilt is Roman Holiday, and isn't this fun? It's just such a nice punch of color, and we've got all these cute teacups and coffee cups here, and I love the black and white. Look at the red little detail here, and these fun cherries on our #2 fabric. Now let's check out the fabric and look at lots of patterns. I love this fabric. I love this fabric too. It is just absolutely darling. And what is it about red, white, and black that just kind of has this contemporary, modern, but this is so fun. So it's like a great combination of both.
It's almost country modern.
It's so fun. I don't even know how to explain it. But anyway, so our #1 fabric, like we said, the black teacups in this nice big block so you can really see them. Love that. And then the #2 is the cherry. And it's on the background here in our alternate block. And this is so fun because didn't see how there's cherries on these little teacups right here?
Oh, yeah.
It mimics those, so I really like that.
That is cute.
I like it whenever there's a little bit of a connection with your fabric. I just think it's cool. And then we have the red as the number 3, and that's the little detail on the alternate block and the border. And the red is great because it gives your eye that little punch of color and the rest. And it brings out all the red in these teacups and in your cherries.
Love it.
So I just really, really think it's fun. Now, we have a couple of other images to show you and other patterns where we've used this darling fabric. So the first one is bold blocks. Now, bold blocks has a really nice sized block, so you get a lot of these teacups showing. And I really like that. And number 3 just gives you that little accent, so it draws your eye to those teacups. So it's absolutely darling. Really, really love it. It's one of my favorites too, I think.
And you know, this is another one that kind of does what I said about that last pattern where I said when you put the color around the frame, it sort of sets it off from that background.
Yes.
So it really draws your eye into your focus fabric.
Love it. So now we have another one that we would like to share with you, Easy Street. Now, Easy Street is a little bit different. It has some different movement in it because the blocks are different sizes and it has the red and the white as the background, which is kind of fun.
Some of our patterns, a directional fabric doesn't work quite as well. The cool thing about the teacups is they're tossed.
Yes.
So you've got teacups going every which way. But that smaller block in this one is directional. And you would be, if you use a directional fabric in that smaller block, the way the instructions are written, you actually turn one of the blocks upside down. Okay. And so we would encourage you not to use a directional in this. But if you want more pointers on how to use directional fabric, we have a great video that we did that covers all the bases.
It's a great, check that out. We went through fabric in depth on directions, so that's really a good one. All right, let's get the kit information on this one. It is called Let's Party. The number is 8023062. Our pattern was Roman Holiday from the Quick as a Wink book, or the alternate pattern is Bold Blocks.
Next up, we have Flights of Fancy. And this one is a fun one that incorporates the flying geese in the secondary block. So let's put that on the table and talk about that. I love this fabric. It's another one that's just kind of soft and sort of springy like.
It definitely is, and it has that watercolor feel, which I just love.
Yes, and this is another one that I would love to show them how to make the block just real quick like, because that's always fun to see. Where are those blocks? So this one is going to, you create a simple block up here with strip piecing. You're just going to strip this fabric, and this is another one that would be great if you did a tossed fabric. And then you put the other 2 strips on here, you cut it, and there's your block. That's how simple it is to piece that one. Now the next one is done similarly. So if we move down here, you can see that this one's made up of the flying geese, and let's go ahead and squeeze it in not only to here, we're going to go over to here. There is a half square triangle. You put 2 of those together to get your flying geese. So you make that particular unit, and then we just put 3 of those on top of each other. We add little strips on the side. It's a super simple process to make that block.
It really is, and it's a really interesting block too. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of different. I like that too. Now this particular fabric is your number 1 fabric. It's going to go in this block as well as the borders. Nice. Very pretty. And this one, I love these soft tone on tones with those mandalas. Is that what you'd call that? So. And I think that is just really sweet. It's going to go in your number 2 spot. And then your number 3, we have this pretty mottled peach color that blends beautifully.
It really does. It picks up all the oranges in the watercolory fabric, the focus fabric.
But what would this look like if we put it into a different pattern, the kaleidoscope pattern? Now this one just really turns it upside down in the way it's looking. It's done totally with the half square triangles.
And you know, this is one of those surprising ones that you don't expect. I really like this fabric and this pattern. I think it's really cool because it's almost like your eye really goes to the focus fabric and it creates that pattern on the surface of your quilt.
Well, when you look at it, you can see it's like it goes down to the center, so that center, or you could say you start at the center and go out, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous quilt.
Right. And that peach frames it perfectly.
Yes, it does. And I like that contrast that you get between the flowers and that cream color. So that one is called Kaleidoscope. And then the other one that we have is called Picture Perfect. Now, Picture Perfect is one that I like from the perspective of you're using your focus fabric, and then you actually frame the alternate block in this particular one. So you've got your focus fabric as a rectangle, and the secondary block is framed. So it puts a little bit more color around that number 2. And when I originally designed this pattern, I thought if somebody wanted to, they could use a fabric that they could embroidery in.
Oh,
Or if you do
clever.
picture quilts, you could also do one of those those prints that you can do on your computer, and you could put that in there as well.
That is super fun.
Now this particular one is Floral Escape 8022463. It's the Flights of Fancy pattern from the book Magic of 3-Yard Quilts, and the alternate pattern is the Kaleidoscope. So that just about sums it up. When it comes to 3-yard quilt patterns, there's practically no rules.
Almost no rules. There's just one.
What's that?
We need to keep the fun in quilting.
Oh, yeah. It's Donna Robertson
And Fran Morgan with Fabric Cafe.